is enough said.
Happy Thursday, Heat Nation! Your boy Ernest here, back with another Miami Heat Talk video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel. We rocking and rolling to 6,000 subscribers, you guys. Thank y'all so much for the support. Now, let's go on another Miami Heat Talk adventure. Miami Heat got a game tomorrow against the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's going to be a true battle. The Miami Heat, I really feel, can get this dub. There's no reason why we should go into this game feeling like failures, feeling like the Heat can't do it. The Miami Heat have proven that they can beat some of the best teams in the NBA. I know we lost against Detroit. I know that game was terrible, but at the end of the day, you got to be proud that the Miami Heat come back down 16 with 5 minutes left and take that game to overtime. I get that we lost, but it's like I always tell y'all, you got to look at things with a half glass full mentality. That's just the way that life is, and that's just the way that I am. Now, before we get to the game tomorrow, you guys, I know there's been a lot of talk this week and last week about the potential trade of Jimmy Butler. I know there's been a lot of reports. I've posted a lot of videos about it. Other Miami Heat creators have posted videos about it. It's been the hottest topic for the last couple weeks. But if you're a Miami Heat fan, if you're down here in South Florida, then you understand that these rumors and this news that broke isn't really new news. Yes, it was reported by Shams Charania recently that the Miami Heat are open to listening to trade offers for Jimmy Butler. But that's been the case since the offseason. You know, Houston, Dallas, Golden State, Brooklyn, these have been teams that have been linked to Jimmy Butler since last offseason. So none of this is really new news. The only really new news, I guess you can say, is what Shams originally reported, is that the Miami Heat are listening to offers from Jimmy Butler. I think they were in the offseason, but this is technically a new report, I guess. But nothing's really new. You know, if you're a Heat fan, you've been hearing about this for months now. So, I've said this before, you guys, and I'll say it again. I don't think that the Miami Heat should trade Jimmy Butler. I love Jimmy Butler on this team. I think the Miami Heat and Jimmy Butler fit like a glove. However, I understand that this is a business. And I understand that if you're looking to give a guy who's 35 years old, who will be 36 next year, a maximum level contract, you're hampering yourself. Especially with the amount of availability he's shown. Now, granted, this season has been really good from Jimmy Butler. He's played the majority of the games. But let's not forget that this is a contract year. And this is what players do in contract years. So, are you going to fall to that? Now, I've also mentioned before that the Miami Heat are in the driver's seat, you guys. You know, let's be real. The Miami Heat can let Jimmy Butler walk in the offseason and get $52 million off their books. Or they can sign and trade him. Because let's be real, the only team that can give Jimmy Butler the money that he's seeking this offseason is Brooklyn. And why the hell would Brooklyn give Jimmy Butler that money? Jimmy Butler's in win now mode. Brooklyn's not met for him. So the other thing that the Miami Heat can do is a sign and trade, which I think most likely will happen. It will most likely be the option that we're leaning towards, especially if the Heat and Jimmy Butler cannot figure out this contract. So the Miami Heat has the ball in their court. Because, yeah, if Jimmy leaves for nothing, technically, you still free up all that money off your books, and now you can build with Tyler and bam. But if you sign and trade him, now you can get some value back for him. But the reason why these rumors are going off is because this year, mid-season, you may be able to get the best value for him as far as young assets and draft picks. If you wait for the offseason, there's a possibility that you may not get as much assets as you can get now. So I understand why these rumors are going haywire. But honestly, you guys, I don't think the Heat are going to do it. They're 13-11. They're out of the play-in. They're fighting for supremacy for the 3rd seed. Why make this trade? Especially if you feel that this team can do it. Now, I don't think the Heat are going to trade Jimmy Butler necessarily, but it doesn't mean that the Miami Heat are not going to make a move. Terry Rozier is a name that's been popping up the last few days. Now, there's no real rumors. There's no concrete rumors if the Miami Heat have made Terry Rozier available. There's no concrete rumors that there's a team that's willing to trade for Rozier. But you know how this stuff works, you guys. February 6th is the trade deadline. We're within 2 months. Rumors are going to pop up. Things are going to pop up. Now, the Miami Heat traded for Terry Rozier last year in the trade deadline. They sent Kyle Lowry and the 2027 future first-round draft pick to Charlotte. I'm not going to say it was a terrible move, because I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, we lost Kyle Lowry for Terry Rozier. Was that really a loss? I mean, Kyle Lowry ain't doing shit with Philadelphia this season. Terry Rozier this year averaging almost 12 points a game, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 90% from the free throw line, 35% from the three-point line, but a very bad 40% for the field. I will give him that. But if you look at these numbers on paper, you guys, it's not like it was a bad trade. Especially now that Terry Rozier is coming off the bench as the 6th man. You look at these numbers for a 6-man player, it's great numbers. But with the emergence of Drew Smith potentially being your backup point guard, seeing that Tyler Hero can hold his own as the starting point guard, Duncan Robinson's holding his own as the starting shooting guard, it's working. You have Drew Smith coming off the bench as a potential backup point guard. So this gives you flexibility. You can maybe move Terry Rozier. Maybe get some of the assets that you lost. But I don't think the Miami Heat are trying to move Terry Rozier just to get a future first-round draft pick, because this team is doing pretty good. Yes, we lost to Detroit, but we're 13-11. We're right there in the thick of it. All we need is just good momentum, another winning streak, and bam, we're fighting for the top 4 spot. That's how close this Eastern Conference is. So the only way that the Miami Heat would actually move Terry Rozier is if they're getting something of value back, a player that can help them win now. Now, I will say that Terry Rozier does have a favorable contract. I'm going to read something, you guys, that was reported on Hoops Hype about Terry Rozier. They basically said that the top Miami Heat trade candidates are future first-round draft picks and Terry Rozier. According to an NBA executive who's spoken with Hoops Hype, the 30-year-old guard was recently moved to the bench as his scoring production is the lowest in 8 years. Rozier is owed $24.92 million this season and is guaranteed $24.92 million next season, with another $1.72 million non-guaranteed. Rozier's remaining salary becomes fully guaranteed if his team participates in the conference semifinals and if he plays at least 70 regular games. End quote. Doesn't really say much, but what that tells me, you guys, is that Terry Rozier does have a favorable contract. $25 million in today's NBA market is not that bad. 10 years ago, that was almost a max level contract. But now, it's basically half of that. He only has 2 more years left of his contract. This year being the first year, next year being the last year. What have I said on this channel for years now? Players that have 2 years remaining left on their contract are favorable trade candidates, because this can mean a lot of different things. You can move them next year for assets. You can buy them out, which opens up flexibility for your books. So there's a lot of things that you can do with a player on the final year of his contract. So will the Miami Heat cash out on Terry Rozier during this trade deadline? It really depends on who's available. Right now, you guys, I mean, there's been little inclination and rumors. I heard something a few days ago, a report that the Miami Heat can get D'Angelo Russell and Gabe Vincent trading for Terry Rozier and Josh Richardson. I mean, Gabe Vincent was amazing in the 2023 season, especially the 2023 playoffs, but he's been an injury-riddled, whack-ass player in the Lakers. Maybe it's because he doesn't have Spo anymore. That shows you how great Spo is. D'Angelo Russell is an effing head case. But you know that he can create on his own. You know that he can do stuff with the ball in his hand. You know he can create his own shot. And maybe D'Angelo Russell being the sixth man of this team may work. You also have a guy like Jonas Valanciunas. I mean, you got to make the numbers work. You may have to add another player. But Jonas Valanciunas is somebody that we've spoken about in the past. You can slide him in as the starting center, move Bam to the 4, have Haywood Highsmith and Drew Smith be your lockdown defenders off the bench. It could work. Or Jonas Valanciunas can be the center coming off the bench for Bam. Leave the starting lineup as you have. There's going to be a lot of players that are going to become available in the next few weeks. There's going to be a lot of names that are going to pop up. You're already hearing certain trade rumors for guys like Zach LaVine, for guys like Jonas Valanciunas, like I've mentioned. Other names are going to start popping up. So the true question, you guys, should the Miami Heat look to trade Terry Rozier instead of Jimmy Butler? Or should they keep this team together? See what they have. Because having Terry Rozier come off the bench as your sixth man seems to be working. But like I mentioned earlier, you guys, with the emergence of Drew Smith, we could see that we already have a backup point guard. Maybe this gives us flexibility to move Terry and to get someone else. Now, I know a lot of Heat fans are going to say, get some size. You have that in Kel'el Ware. I still strongly feel that Kel'el Ware can still make an impact this season. Maybe it might be towards the second half of the year, but I still feel he can. But if you have an opportunity to get another big that can help you win now, why wouldn't you at least entertain that idea? So I want to hear from y'all, Heat Nation. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We're pushing to 6,000 subscribers. Thank y'all so much for your continued support. Until next time, your boy Ernest out. And that is enough said. Let's go.